All right. Thunder students back again. Mr. Williams here. Close that out. Thunder students, Mr. Williams back, taking you through our second subsection here of section 14, the 1990s. We're talking about the dot-com economy. So the information age has been born early to mid part of this decade, something that rivals the significance of the Industrial Revolution in terms of changing personal life, professional life, not just in the US of A, but worldwide. That's the advent of the internet and the institution of this new form of communication and this new form of doing business. We touched on it a little bit when looking at technology and advancements in tech in section 13. Now, the technology has continued to advance at a rapid rate and become more integrated into the daily lives of Americans, and therefore it is changing en masse how we do things. And some of these websites that are now prominent on this new finagled entity that is the internet are becoming extremely influential in how things take place and how people do things in the US of A and internationally speaking. There's no doubt about it. The vast majority of historians would agree with you that the economy in the 1990s was phenomenal, okay? Especially when comparing it to previous eras and considering that we are now in a completely different type of industrial complex. We have transitioned from being an economy that was dominated by manufacturing, so actually producing physical stuff and providing services regarding that physical stuff. We've moved from manufacturing to service, okay? Service or almost completely digital platforms. So to have unemployment that low at 4%, which is ridiculously low, okay? The only other time in recent history where it's been that low, prior to the coronavirus here over the last few months. But unemployment was at 4% throughout the decade, or we get there, okay? It hovers around that number. Inflation is low. Prices have stabilized through the majority of this era, and there's millions being invested into the stock market, most notably some of these dot-com companies. Highly advise you to watch the Information Age episode of CNN's The 90s. It will give you great insight into Macintosh, Apple, and Microsoft and their advancement throughout the decade. It gets heavily into some of the antitrust battles that were taking place between the United States government and Microsoft. So basically the monopoly that people were charging Bill Gates of having throughout the 1990s. But it also does a great job of kind of giving you insight into the dot-com bubble. All right. Ultimately, how everybody started to just rave about site traffic, internet clicks, and they started to invest millions into these companies that were just getting enormous amounts of attention, but they didn't necessarily have the profit to back it up. So if you ever watched an episode of Shark Tank, okay, you would understand and be able to follow just some of the commentary in that episode. So watch the Information Age episode. It will just do a greater job of providing additional content and insight into these notes right here from this subsection. Two things drive that 90s prosperity, again, kind of circling back here. The personal computer, all right? The personal computer is one of those two things that drives wealth and prosperity throughout this era. Again, we've entered into an age where significant, enormous changes are successfully happening in our nation. So like the Industrial Revolution, we've got the communication/information/technical revolution of the 1990s and early aughts. The workplace has been revolutionized. Speed, efficiency, production, all of it has been heightened, and that's just going to mean more money for everybody else. So I'm going to go ahead and unplug my head and check out a few of these ads. All right, a few of these ads from the 1990s pushing the personal computer. And I have to tell you, it was crazy how often you were buying a new one of these. Okay, so like it's just commonplace now. You update your iPhone or you update your Samsung every 2 years, okay, or even sooner than that. You're doing the same thing with your personal computer, all right, but on a shorter time frame through the mid to late to early 90s to the early aughts. It was absolutely phenomenal at what rate these things were improving in speed, efficiency, productivity. And if you're going to keep up in just terms of communicating online with your peers, not just doing business, but just practically communicating and staying up with the Joneses, you had to update routinely. Just an ad here about the style, the simplicity, the sexiness of the iMac. Steve Jobs gets back into the game at Apple Macintosh in the 90s and basically revives the entire company. What was a dying business is resurrected by the individual that basically created it. And then, of course, we got this guy, the Dale dude.
Hey, it's me, Steve. This year, to avoid any confusion, I'm putting my wish list on video. All I want is a computer. Now, hold on, Dad. It's just $849 for all of this. A Dell computer, speakers, monitor, 1 year of MSN internet access, Intel Pentium 3 processor, which is awesome. I even cleared a spaceport. And Dell will throw in a free DVD upgrade. And Dad, I know how much you'll love free stuff. All you have to do is call or go online. Anywho, happy holidays, your son, Steven.
Steven was the Dell guy, and he was like, dude, you're getting the Dell. Ask your parents about Dell computers. Ask your parents about the Dell guy. I have a feeling the vast majority of them are going to be able to remember that. You might show them that clip right there. But several of those old commercials on YouTube, just like the old ones we had regarding the personal computer and the cell phone back when we were talking about Section 13. So the personal computer continues to advance, become faster, more productive, etc. And the rate at which we communicate with each other, the rate at which we share information, the rate at which we conduct business continues to rapidly increase, just furthering the levels of prosperity that can be achieved by big business, small business, and individuals alike. All of it leading to more prosperity and wealth throughout the 1990s. The internet. The internet is going to be the second item that really leads, building off of the personal computer. Forgot about globalization. The internet is going to, give us now a platform at which we can interact digitally, all right, through these new personal computers, okay? So it's not just for keeping inventory, for completing your taxes, for basically adding convenience to daily activities or professional activities, personal or professional, okay? The internet is now going to become a marketplace, per se. So no longer the physical, tangible marketplace, but you're now going to have a digital marketplace to go and interact professionally, but also a social setting that many individuals could take advantage of. Again, all of this described wonderfully in the Information Age video from CNN's The 90s. Got to watch that.
Online is making it easier.
America Online. God, this commercial's awesome.
Hey, Dan, ready for the game? I'm just finishing up here with my new kayaking friends. Kayaking friends on your computer? Yeah, I just got America Online. Sounds great. Listen, I can't go to the game today. What? I've got to send something for my mom's birthday. It's tomorrow. I'll then book plane tickets for our trip next week, and my kids got to go to the library to look up dinosaurs.
And he's got to do all of that, again, like in person. Oh, man, it's going to take so much time. But wait, now with the internet, now with all of these services provided digitally, hey, you could get all this done and still go to the game.
Hey, we can take care of all that before we go. Yeah, right. Oh, with America Online. America Online can do all that? Yeah. How about sending your mom some nice flowers? All you do is click on Marketplace. We place an order. Call now for America Online, a new way to use your computer to communicate, have fun, and get instant news and information. Flowers are sent. Now let's access the online travel service. How long have you had this? About a week. And it's so easy. All you do is point and click. But how does it work? All you need is a computer and a regular phone line. They send you the software and give you 10 free hours to check it out. Call now for your free America Online Startup Kit and get free software and 10 free online hours. It's everything you need to get online. Plane tickets are ordered. Now, let's look up dinosaurs. What do you think? Compton's Encyclopedia or National Geographic? You get all that with America Online? Yeah, you can read Business Week Online before it hits the newsstand. Update your stock portfolio every 15 minutes with PC Quote. You can even play fantasy football. Call now for 10 free hours of America Online and get instant access to the worlds of sports, finance, computing, and entertainment. Here come the dinosaurs. I saved you a trip to the library. That's great. Yeah, downloading is easy too. You know, I can even send email on the internet. And of course, it's my personal favorite, live chat. That's how I met my new kayaking buddies. We'll check that out later, after the game. So how do you get America Online? Oh, that's easy too. You just call their 800 number. I gotta check this out. Call 1-800-614-3434
Daily life,
now
personal and professional, revolutionized by the personal computer, taken to a completely different level, completely different level by the internet. Okay, so things are going to change, and are going to change rapidly. So the World Wide Web debuts in 1991. You've got several search engines debuting by the mid-90s. You got sites like Amazon and eBay going live in 95. Each of those further discussed in the Information Age video. Highly recommend you to check that out. And before you know it, by the late 90s, live chat through Yahoo Messenger, old school, for those of you out there, Yahoo Pager, what is officially referred to as then Yahoo Messenger. Email and those messaging apps online become the commonplace for communication. And that's before the cell phone and text message. So email, online messaging apps, all of that becomes a more common form of communication by the end of the decade, by 99, rolling into 2000 and 2001. America Online starts to get phased out. Netscape is another internet browser that is prominent through the majority of the 90s. But by the end of the 90s, almost everybody is operating on Microsoft Internet Explorer. Okay, so it's Internet Explorer, or if you're using an OS, a Mac OS, it's probably Netscape, maybe the early versions of Safari. But American Online is eventually going to be phased out. But it was dominant through the mid to late 90s. The second item that is going to greatly influence the economy through the 1990s, globalization. Textbook page section 24.1 reviews this, okay? So with the fall of the Soviet Union and everybody kind of now tending towards democracy in a sense, all right, the marketplace in the world has become open. Yeah, you do have some communist, socialist nations out there that are closed societies, but they're willing to do business with anybody that's willing to do business with them. And many of those open, free societies are also willing to do business with closed societies, even though their ideologies differ, okay? So globalization, the idea of the world flattening out, all right, begins through the 1990s and hits hyperdrive by the end of the decade. This is when we start to see a lot of businesses shipping product overseas for assembly, okay, product overseas for creation, and then shipping it back in the United States for sales. Outsourcing becomes dominant in this decade. Again, ironic when you think about the fact that our economy, for the most part, had been built on the idea of manufacturing for decades, yet we see economic growth and unemployment dissipate enormously throughout this era, and we're outsourcing jobs. Crazy stuff, okay? Again, just the successful navigation through a changing time in the information age by our nation, all right? So economic globalization, something that's challenged now by certain voices in our national conversation. It gets a foothold, all right, a stronghold, and takes off extensively in this era. And one of those things that really pushes that is NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement, which was signed into law by Bill Clinton early on during his first term. Something, again, that will be covered in some of those to a greater degree. We're going to cover it too, but covered it to a greater degree in those videos from CNN's The 90s, okay? The North American Free Trade Agreement, which sunset earlier during Donald Trump's term, and he signed a new one practically into existence within the last year, okay? Globalization explained in this short little video here for sake of time. I don't know if we're going to watch it. Might include it in a video to you, but Google it, all right? Practically, we're just saying, look, with the new communication technology, with everything being able to go digital in terms of paper trail, sharing of information, you could outsource and then bring things back and save money, right? That profit margin would be far larger for an American-based business, even if they weren't doing all their business here in the US of A. Okay? Kind of what this video explains for you. That does it for our second subsection, the dot-com economy. I guess I didn't get to the bursting of that bubble, but you will see that in the information age, and we'll talk about it as well in some of the subsections to follow. Next up, pop culture in the 1990s. Oh, man, I love this stuff. This is great, okay? Pop culture in the 1990s. Mr. Williams will share stories with you about how we should just sit on the phone and talk to each other for hours watching music videos on MTV, okay? Present day, I think you do that on YouTube. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't care. But this is the next section that we'll study. So that does it for the dot-com economy. We'll pick it up next time with the American psyche, the mood of America, and alternative America, pop culture during this era. Later.